Ghosted. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be filming a Q&A. So y'all asked me some questions, so I'm pulling up with some answers. I know you saw this top already. Sorry y'all, my battery is dying and I just want to make sure that I get all of this content before my battery dies because I don't have the backup. I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram stories, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the form and get into answering some of these. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up and all of that. We getting straight to it today. So the first question I got is, do you support your roomie? So if y'all don't know, I do live in an apartment. I moved out of my mother's house last year, so I'm going on a year and a half in this apartment, and I live with my roommate, and of course she's the one who asked this question. Yes, I do support her. Definitely make sure you check her out. She has her blog through my review on Instagram. I would love if you guys went ahead and gave her a follow, DM her, let her know that I sent you. But of course I support my roommate. She trolled me in these questions. She asked like 10 ridiculous questions, and so yeah. Is it hard to manage between American culture and Senegalese culture? This is something that I've said a lot of times. When I grew up or growing up, I always felt like, dang, I'm not Senegalese enough for the Senegalese people, and I'm not just American enough for the American people that I hung around. And so I feel like it's always been a struggle when it comes to merging the two cultures, and I feel like I'm a hybrid. I'm proud of my Senegalese culture, I'm proud of my Senegalese roots, but I'm also proud to be a Black American as well that was born here. So I feel like, and not to say that if you aren't born here, you can't experience the same pride when it comes to being Black or being in America, absolutely not. But just saying, for my particular case, as someone that was born here and not in Africa, not having that connection, you know what I mean, with Senegalese people as far as learning the language in the country and being around my family in the country, I feel like it's definitely impacted me and how I am, and even my accent when it comes to speaking Wolof. So I definitely did struggle, and I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those kids that growing up, I did try to separate myself from my African culture. I did want to be more American, just because when I grew up, honey, being African was like walking around with a scarlet letter. Like, I promise you, African booty scratcher. I'm talking about, I've had experiences where there was this boy in my class, I will never forget this story because I was just sitting there baffled. Y'all, let's say it's a notebook. We were in Spanish class, and in our Spanish notebooks we had to write the letters of Spanish, or we had to write something basically in our notebooks every single day, and she would sporadically collect it and give us a grade. So everybody's turning in their notebook. Do you know this boy took 2 pencils to pick up my notebook and like moved it instead of just picking it up with his hands? It's almost like I was treated like a pariah. And that memory just never left me, because in my head it was just like, dang, like, how low are you calling me? Like, you don't even want to touch my things. You know what I mean? And you know, that's like one of many stories growing up African. I mean, I've lost friends. I'll never forget again a girl who was like one of my close friends for like a year. We were friends, and then one day she was like, you African? I don't know if someone said it that day or how it even came about, but she asked me, she was like, you African? And I was like, yes, I'm African. And she was like, oh, we can't be friends, I thought you was Jamaican. Oh, hell no! I'm talking about somebody that was like my close friend for a full year. Y'all don't know the half of what we went through. So absolutely, balancing my Senegalese culture and my American culture was definitely a struggle when I was growing up. As of right now, it's not as much of a struggle, but I do sometimes feel a little bit disconnected, just because, you know, sometimes I don't know, to Senegalese people I'm a little too American. I don't know, it's just that struggle where I feel like sometimes I bash myself because I'm like, yo, you're not Senegalese enough. I don't listen to the music as often as I should. I don't indulge in the culture as often as I should, but I'm definitely proud to be Senegalese. Okay, 221 period. How have you been able to gain your confidence as a plus size woman? I love you so much, by the way. I love you too, sis. I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is one question that I really don't like getting. I don't like answering. I just don't like the question. One, because first and foremost, it assumes I'm confident. That's the first mistake, is that just because I put myself out there, just because I create content, just because I put myself for the world to see, doesn't necessarily mean that I'm confident. In fact, I feel like sometimes I put it out there to gain my confidence and to reclaim my time, right? Like to reclaim my livelihood. One thing that I noticed recently, and it's gonna sound like a tangent, but it's gonna all connect. One thing I noticed recently is like, I don't see a lot of plus size, dark skinned black women just living their lives as far as doing vlogs and, you know, just like on social. We don't see them a lot. I know that they're out there because I'm out here. I know that they're out there, but the algorithm and whatever the case may be makes it super hard to find. And one of the things that I stopped myself from doing for so long is vlogs, for the very fact of I'm not always confident. I feel like maybe my arms look too big in this screen, or, you know, dang, like I look whatever. Like I just have all of these negative thoughts sometimes that come into my head about how I look. And I have to do the work to remind myself that in every state that I am beautiful. In every size that I will be and that I am right now, that in any size that I have been before, I am beautiful. And so I think that when I get questioned about how I have so much confidence, the reality is that confidence for me is a journey. And I've said this in my posts before on Instagram, and I'll say this again. Confidence for me is not a one-stop shop. It's not a destination. I don't wake up and just suddenly feel confident. It's something that I have to work towards. I have to speak positively to myself. I have to pour into myself. I have to challenge every negative thought that comes into my head. I'm putting out a vlog this week. I'm saying this, I'm gonna probably put this Q&A out first just so that y'all can hold me to it. I'm putting out a vlog this week, a daily vlog or a weekly vlog, I'm not sure yet, but I'm putting out a vlog this week in order to overcome that fear of people judging me or judging my body. Y'all have asked me for plus size fashion content for so long, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, a part of the reason that has held me back is the fact that sometimes I'll look at the outfits and I'm like, dang, was this a good angle? Was this a bad angle? And it's just like all of that is the pressure that society puts on us as far as like what a good body looks like. And the honest truth is your body is a good body. My body is a good body. So when it comes to gaining my confidence as a plus size woman, I have to fight for everything, or fight against everything I've been taught about myself when it comes to how I look. So one of my focuses that I think has also helped me to gain confidence is that I'm getting healthier. I'm eating better, I'm drinking more water, I feel better, my body feels stronger, my body feels like it can do more. And so as a result of me just taking care of myself internally, as far as what I eat, what I drink, what I put on my body, and externally by what I say to myself, my confidence is building. You can't tell me nothing. And honestly, as an African girl, as an African child, you can't tell me nothing my mother has not already told me. And that's just that. Like, I feel like a lot of African children, Caribbean children, if you're from the diaspora in general, like, I feel like, you know, our parents are just like our harshest critics when it comes to the things that we do. So there's really nothing no one can tell me that I haven't heard before. So I think that for me, gaining my confidence, and I want to change that word, gaining my confidence, to building, maintaining confidence, for me happens with me taking care of myself, loving myself in every state, in every stage, at every angle, and telling myself that I am okay with how I look. And if I'm not okay with it, or not even that I'm okay with how I look, but that there's nothing wrong with how I look, and if I want to make changes, I have the ability to do that. So if you are a plus size woman and you're trying to figure out how do you gain confidence, how do you maintain confidence, how do you remain confident, I think one is just going to be taking care of yourself, like giving yourself what you need, whether that's you taking your vitamins, whether that's you know, just like taking care of your mental health with getting a therapist, whatever that looks like for you. Take care of yourself. Number one, journal. You know what I mean? Write down how you feel, what triggers you when it comes to, you know, if you have any negative thoughts about your body, what triggers you, you know what I mean? And third is to follow black women, or to follow, because you might not be black watching this, but the third one is going to be to follow people that look like you. That is something that I feel like we don't talk about enough. Like, you can't follow your aspirational idea of beauty only. You can't only follow, and I was a victim of this, right? Like, I noticed at one point, like, yo, you're following just a lot of, you know, women who don't look like you, women who don't have your body type. And that starts to play a role in your confidence, because you're not seeing yourself, right? You're not seeing someone who looks like you, who is, you know, putting themselves out there. You're not seeing beauty within how you look. And that definitely affects your confidence. It affects how you feel on the inside. So I feel like one of the major keys when it comes to gaining your confidence, maintaining and building it, is constantly following people that look like you, so that you're constantly reminded of your own beauty through them as well. That's just a gem that I had. And I know I went off a little bit on that, but I really don't like that confidence question. And the first reason was because it assumes I have the confidence. But two is also because a lot of times, and not necessarily with my sis that DM me, but a lot of times I see certain people who don't look like me who are like, oh my God, I love your confidence. What are you trying to say? Am I not supposed to be confident? You know what I mean? Like, it's a double-edged sword in that one, it assumes confidence when you don't know someone's journey, but also two, you assert that someone who looks like me, right, shouldn't be confident because of how they look, and you're so happy that they're loving themselves and putting themselves out there regardless. So just in general, I think that confidence is one of those topics where you shouldn't ask a fat person like, how are you so confident, because you're assuming, but also too, you're projecting that they can't be confident as a result of their size. I hope that what I said made sense. I hope it made sense. And I hope that no one takes offense to anything that I said. I might not be the most politically correct, but I mean very much so well in what I'm saying. What is one of the challenges you are facing? So, one of the challenges I was facing for a while is just this idea of being self-employed. You have to be self-motivated. You have to be self-disciplined. You make your own schedule. You don't get paid unless you put in the work. And that's just that. And I feel like with me, I'm uncovering the layers of myself. And I think that's one of the things that I'm facing is just, one, accepting the things about myself that are like, dang sis, like, whew, you toxic in that way. Dang sis, you might not be a good friend. Dang sis, you don't know how to budget and save your money. Dang sis, you need to call your mother more often, right? Like, all of these things that I'm realizing within myself about just like my personality, on top of, yo, you need to be more productive. You need to get things going. You need to balance your time. You need to make time not just for work, but for play, for love, for God. You need to make time for everything. And so I think one of my biggest challenges is just becoming the woman I aspire to be. I only aspire to be the highest version of myself, right? And I have an idea of what that looks like. That is someone who budgets their money and has a good relationship with money, but is also giving. That is someone that is prayerful, that is God-fearing, that knows God. Someone that is, you know, loving to their family, but also whose family can feel their love through their actions. Someone that's a great friend, that is reliable, that you can call when you need something, but also call just to shoot the shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things that I want to be, and I feel like my challenge right now is putting myself in a place where I can become my higher self, and that's taking work. You know what I mean? I haven't been on YouTube in a while, and I'm not gonna make excuses. I feel like every time I come back on YouTube, I make excuses. I explain, I'm not doing that. Just know that my goal and a part of me attaining my higher self was to take that time off so that I can find balance. So all of November, I focused on becoming consistent on Instagram, because that is where a large part of my revenue comes from. It's from my Instagram brand. And so for me, it's been like, okay, November, you're gonna focus on becoming consistent with Instagram, becoming consistent with your branding, and then December, you're gonna become consistent on YouTube. So because I've mastered one, I can now add on another thing to master. And in December, beyond just mastering consistency on YouTube, I also found a therapist. I'm also getting healthy. I've, you know, connected with people as far as friendships, but I've also put myself aside and separated myself from certain friendships in order to grow. And so I think that my hardest thing that I'm going through right now is just becoming my higher self, and that's something that's a daily task. And so if you are someone where you're just not happy with where you are right now, work on becoming that person that you want to be, but do it slowly. Don't force yourself to do it all at one time. That was the huge problem that I had, is that I was trying to do it all too quick, too soon. And if you're trying to balance too many things at one time and you haven't mastered one, everything is going to drop. Whereas you get comfortable with balancing that one thing, you add in one more, you add in one more, you find your flow, and then before you know it, you're balancing it all. What part of Africa are you from? Senegal. 221. Another question is, what keeps you motivated? Honestly, I saw Jalissa Vaughn make a video and I watched it. If you don't follow her on YouTube, you definitely should. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, you definitely should. And one of the things she said is just like, you know, imagine you're gonna have to answer to God for the gifts that he gave you, and for the things that he provided you that you did not take advantage of and that you did not use. Basically, to put it in layman's terms, like, my biggest fear is fumbling the bag, right? And not the literal bag, not the money bag, but just fumbling what God has given me. God provided me with a vision of what I want to do, giving me the tools to do it, giving me the success to thrive in it, and I just completely fumble it all. that fear of having to answer to God for what he blessed me with and taking advantage of that in a negative way, that's what keeps me motivated. Because anytime I feel like I don't want to do something, anytime I feel lazy, anytime I'm just like in a rut, no matter how bad it is, I always remind myself, how are you going to answer to God? Because God would not have gotten me where I am if this is not what I was meant to do, right? And so my motivation comes from knowing that I've been blessed, and therefore I need to walk within my purpose and not walk away from it. What inspired you to start your influencer journey? You're so beautiful. Thank you so much. Honestly, I didn't start off wanting to be an influencer. Like, I started off being a makeup artist, and I think a huge part of that was I was afraid because I had never seen someone who looked like me on social really thriving. I was just like, there's no space for me. Someone like me can't be, you know what I mean, can't be popping. Someone like me can't be, you know, loved by other people or be supported by other people. I really doubted myself, and therefore I started off just doing makeup on other people. But if I had to tell you what inspired me to get into makeup, because that's honestly how my journey started, now I'm delving more into like makeup or beauty, fashion, putting myself out there with plus size fashion as well as lifestyle. But what started this all was my love for makeup, which is why I would never let this channel die. I would never not create beauty content, because I would not be where I am without beauty, you know what I mean? And if I had to say what inspired me, definitely Jackie Aina. 1000% Jackie Aina. They Call Me Mo, Destiny Godly, 3 black women. When I was trying to learn how to do my makeup, they were the only women on the internet that looked even similar to my complexion, even similar to me. Watching their videos, watching them grow, watching them thrive, I was just like, yo, you taught me how to be my face, now I'm gonna teach other people how to do it. I'm gonna do it for other people. And like, my confidence and just like who I was as a person blossomed. As of right now, my inspirations, not to say that they're not my inspirations, because they will forever and always be the ones who inspired me to do anything, and I love seeing them win. I think that in the same vein of following people who look like you, a huge part of what I do right now as an influencer is following people who are influencing at the same level as me, a little bit above me, a little bit above me. And then we got the Jackies, we got the Nimas, we got the Nabellas, you know what I mean? So like, just constantly surrounding myself with inspiration from people within my level, above my level, not, I don't want to say below my level, but people whose followings are lower than mine. Like, just constantly supporting, loving, and seeing women who look like me, men who look like me in this field shine inspires me constantly and keeps me motivated. What's one thing about yourself that if you tell people they will be shocked? That I'm shy, I'm an introvert. Yeah, I'm a shy introvert. I guess that'll be 2 things. And I need to delve, that's a conversation with my therapist, because sometimes I ask myself, are you shy or are you just traumatized from your social experiences as a child that you are afraid to meet new people and afraid to talk to people? But that's another conversation for my therapist, not for y'all. Maybe I'll bring it up on another day. But for sure, I am very timid when it comes to meeting new people. I would say I have social anxiety to some form. Like, I get really nervous when it comes to meeting people in person, but also definitely I'm an introvert. I'm that person, I have a meter. You know what I mean? I could be around people, but once it gets to a certain level, I need to go back into my natural habit, which is just to be, you know, within myself. But I feel like when I tell people I'm an introvert, or when I tell people I'm shy, they're always just like, oh my God, no, not you. And I'm like, yes, yes, me. What is something you would do in life if you knew you couldn't fail at it? This. What I'm doing right now. I guess I beat the fear. Like, I think I went into this journey not thinking that I would be successful. I was just doing it because I wanted to do it. Like, being successful in content creation or being successful on a platform was never the first thing that came to my mind. It was mainly just putting myself out there, which is why I always tell creators, like, and I know it's annoying to hear, it's something that I struggle with now that I feel like I'm in a place where I'm okay, of just like having to keep it up. But in the very beginning, I didn't care how many likes I got. I didn't care about followers. Like, the followers came when I was hyped, but I wasn't like, oh my God, this is the follower count I'm at. Oh my God, this is how many likes this picture got. Like, I think in the beginning, for me, it was more so just about beating the fear that I had. And it was almost like it was me versus me. Like, I'm gonna put out this post to prove to myself that I can do it. Less than, you know, putting out a post and seeing how it does, especially in the very beginning. So I think that this is the one thing that I'm doing when it comes to creating content, being on YouTube, being on Instagram, creating my own blog. that I am afraid of, because I'm afraid of, one, fumbling and like having to answer to God for not following through with it, but also two, like, you never know what happens in life, right? Like, you never know. And so I think that right now I am scared. There's a possibility that down the line I will fail, you know what I mean? But I'm doing it regardless. And so I think, to that question, do anything you want to do in this life, even if you think you're gonna fail. Don't let failure be that barrier that stops you from going. What is something you're afraid of? I feel like I've mentioned it a few times. My big, honestly, I'm gonna be real, not even just that. My biggest fear is not, and you know, this is just for the people that believe in religion. If you don't, or not even religion, but if you believe in God, for me personally, my biggest fear is my time being over and not being who God wanted me to be, and not living my life in a way that will leave me in a positive afterlife, right? Like, I believe in heaven and hell. And so my biggest fear every day, because I sin every day. I'm not gonna speak for everyone, but I sin every single day. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm always just like, yo, I hope I can, you know, wake up tomorrow and pray to kind of just like beg for forgiveness. So I hope that I can just ask for forgiveness to, you know, to combat what I did. And so I think about it a lot, especially now because of the year that we're in the pandemic. I'm always thinking like, yo, make your days count. Make sure God is happy with you, because you never know what can happen. And I ain't trying to see Satan, period. Are you dating / do you have a boyfriend? So I'm gonna keep it all the way real with y'all, okay? I have dated this year and I have dated last year. I've dated people. It hasn't worked out. So the two that I kind of, not to say wanted to work out, but I was just like, one didn't work out because of religious differences. And the second, I got ghosted out the blue. Like, that was a huge hit to my ego, because I was like, you ghosted me? You ghosted me? It can happen to anybody though. If y'all want a story time, or not even a story time, but if y'all want me to talk about it in an upcoming chit chat, get ready with me, because I'm not gonna dedicate a full video to that story, but because it really isn't that deep. It was more so just like, I've never experienced that before, so I was just like shocked. I was like, wow. But yeah, the other person, I got ghosted. And then everyone else has more so just been like chatter, but nothing serious. And when I say serious, I mean like no conversations that last more than a week. So no, I don't have a boyfriend. And if I'm being real with y'all, I think for the next 6 months, like, I'm planning for 2021 already, even though I know when you plan, God laughs, because we don't know, time is not, you know, guaranteed. Excuse me. Time is not guaranteed. I'm definitely, for the next 6 months, I don't have any plans on dating at all. I already said it, I'm in a transitional phase in my life where I'm trying to show up as my highest self. And I feel like that requires limited distractions when it comes to, you know, I found myself in the past, like in patterns where it's just like, are you doing this, or are you being this way because it's who you really are, or is it because you want someone to like you? And so I feel like I need to continue working on myself, getting to know myself, loving myself, and being completely whole in who I am as a person. And that might not take 6 months, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, but regardless, for the next 6 months, it's all me. You know what I mean? In every aspect of my life, professionally, spiritually, mentally, in every way, it's all me. I'm focusing on myself. You know what I mean? I'm trying to reach my highest self, and therefore I don't have time for the distractions. So I'm not going to be dating or in a relationship unless God, you know, drop down and bring me my husband, and I'm just like, whew, I had a dream, God told me it was you, then maybe. But just as far as me searching that or like entertaining it, unless it's like, nah, I'm not doing it. 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 How did you grow your social media? I have a few questions here about social media. So I have questions of like how to pitch to brands / must-have film equipment. How did you grow your social media? How's influencing going? How are you making money, etc. I think I'm going to save all of those questions for another video, just to give you guys an update on how influencing is going, / to also just give, you know, those who are beginners tips. So I'm going to hold up on those questions and answer them in another video. What are some of your 5-year goals? Okay, so one for sure is that higher self person that I'm talking about. I need to be her within, like, honestly, I don't got 5 years for that. 1 year. Within the next year, I need to be that higher self. Definitely want to own a house. If you would have asked me that when I was 15, 16, I would have told you, I don't want to live in a house. I want to live in an apartment. I don't want to get robbed, or I don't want to live in the suburbs. But definitely as I've gotten older, I definitely want to have a house, want to have a car. I want to be inspiring women consistently by showing up as my authentic self, even when my authentic self feels foreign to me, right? So facing those fears when it comes to body image, when it comes to, you know, how I speak, when it comes to anything of that sort, just like showing up as my authentic self in every space that I go. And my goal and my hope is that that allows someone else to be their authentic self. And that's a struggle for me. It's something that I'm struggling with because I feel like I show up as myself, but I don't always show up as my authentic self. Sometimes I alter in order to accommodate for, whether it's a brand, to accommodate for my own insecurities, to accommodate for what I'm afraid of, you know what I mean? So I definitely want to show up as my authentic self in every space at all times. Another, like, I don't know, because I feel like showing up as my highest self, that encompasses a lot, because that's me being, again, praying, family, friends, body, confidence, as far as just like being healthy, all of these things, that's all within showing up as my higher self. So I guess I can, and then showing up as my authentic self, and then as far as materialistic wise, having a house, having a car. And I think to encompass it all, I just want to be happy. I want to be alive, God willing. I'm here and I want to be happy. That's just the goal of mine, is to be happy. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to be happy. This kind of shows the kind of community that I built, because I feel like these questions are so like inspirational and just like peace. Ain't nobody asking no juicy questions, so let me think of what some juicy questions are that I could answer. Just different questions. I'll do like 3 more. One is, who are some of your favorite YouTubers? Yo, one that I recently found that I'm like in love with, Amina Coco. And from watching her videos and also from this course that I'm in, I've heard of Nella Rose and Andrea. I'm gonna put her name on the screen. But I was struggling with this idea of like, yo, where are the dark skinned YouTubers at? Where are the dark skinned YouTubers at that are thriving? Like, and I feel like they're all in the UK. And I learned that from Amina. They're all in the UK. So I've been following more new UK YouTubers and I've been loving their vlog style. So definitely know that I'm going to just be like, that's where I want to go with my content. It's just like showing my personality more. Of course, beauty is my main focus, but for sure, showing up as my authentic self again. And those women have allowed me to feel more comfortable doing that. And then of course we have the OGs. Nima Tang, Jackie Aina, Nabella Noor. I've been loving Smoky Glow, Impressive TV. I love everything. Like, there's so many. I'm gonna put a list down. Andrea Renee, Ohima Bonsu. Like, there's so many YouTubers that I love. I'm just gonna write their names down below and leave their channels down below so that you can subscribe to them. I definitely do lean more towards dark-skinned YouTubers because I feel like there's not enough of us. And again, remember what I said earlier, you need to follow people that look like you in order to continue to build, maintain, gain your confidence. So a part of me doing that, a part of that work for me, is definitely following YouTubers who look like me or who I can relate to, because that just helps me. Do you have any siblings? I do. Aisha, what's a juicy question? A juicy question. I can't think of them, but like, I'm in like I'm stumped. I don't know. Huh? Oh, no, I ain't talking about COVID. They're gonna demonetize my channel. All right, you guys, I am out of questions. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, I have no problem with doing a part 2, because I realized I asked my Instagram family, but I didn't ask my YouTube family. So definitely leave down below any questions that you have that you would like me to answer, and I will do that in a part 2. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you go ahead and give this channel a big thumbs up, or give this video a big thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye, guys.
Yeah.